Well, good morning from the Piazza del Campo on this Tuesday morning on the 16th of October 2018. Now, normally we wouldn't be here with horses in the piazza, but we have an extraordinary palio that will be run in honor of the end of the First World War on the 20th of October to celebrate 100 years, shall we say. So right now what you are seeing in the background are horses, of course, in the Piazza del Campo. They're normally, with the regular palio, you'll see 50, even up to 60 horses that are going to be tested in the so-called night trials. Now, clearly we're not at night, it's about 10 in the morning right now, and we're going to have 4 heats of 7 horses each to determine which horses are best ready, best prepared for the palio on the 20th of October. So right now we're going to have a heat of 7 horses. Now, all of these horses, save one, have never run in the palio before. So again, this is an opportunity for the vets, for the jockeys and the captains of the contradas to get an idea how the horses fare on this rather treacherous track of the Piazza del Campo. Now, unlike the tratta tomorrow, where we have more trial races and then, more trials, shall we say, selection trials, and then the first prova tomorrow evening, there is no mossa, there are no starting ropes here. The horses just simply come out of the entrone, of the courtyard of the Palazzo Pubblico, and run 3, maybe even 4 laps around. The jockeys are not wearing any uniform. And then, of course, from tomorrow evening, they will be wearing the colors of the contradas for whom they are running. These horses are all, as I say, none of them except one in this particular heat have actually raced in the palio. In general, the horses' names go by letter and the date of birth. So, for example, we have the horses in this trial called Rio Manigos and Raul, who were born in 2010, hence their name begins with an R. Senoressa is an S, and she was born in 2011. So we have females and castrated males. No males are running, but castrated males and female horses. Some horses, of course, are known by all in Siena. They are followed throughout the year. We have some of our colleagues who follow all of the trial races. They follow the veterinary visits, and they watch the horses as they compete in other races, because the palio really is the show. The palio is the most prestigious of all bareback horse races, perhaps in the world. So remember, again, you'll see the horses are not wearing saddles. The jockeys are pure muscle and sinew to be able to feel the horse and control the horse using just their legs. Now, all of the jockeys here, again, you're not going to see jockeys who are the kings of the piazza, shall we say. Indeed, in this particular heat, in this particular trial, we have one jockey, Enrico Bruschelli, who is the son of perhaps the most famous jockey who's still running today, Trecciolino, who has 13 victories. Bruschelli has run in 5 palio races. He does not yet have a victory to his name, but perhaps that could change. We have another jockey here, Koge detto Tempesta. All jockeys have a nickname, and often their nickname has something to do with their physical aspect or something perhaps to do with weather. For example, Tempesta, storm. I think you understand that very clearly. So as you can see right now, there's a horse without a rider. In the palio, the jockey is, of course, crucial to the horse race, but it is the horse that wins the palio race. So in fact, for some contrade, they might say a riderless victory is more pure because it's the horse, the spirit of the Virgin Mary, perhaps, just that wild spirit of the horse that wins the palio race. So you can see right now the horses have slowed down. Someone's going to go and get the riderless horse now. It's a very calm morning, and usually during the night trials, which take place at 5:30 in the morning, so at dawn, and you see the sun rising over the Piazza del Campo, this morning is much calmer because it's a Tuesday and people are at work. Okay, so that's the first trial. The first trial has finished. The horses will now go back into the entrone, the courtyard of the Palazzo Pubblico, and then the next group of 7 will come out. So if you're curious to know the names of these horses, they were Sotiere Su. You're going to hear a lot of U's because those are Sardinian horses by birth. The horses, must remember, they must be a mix of English and Arabian. They cannot be thoroughbreds because of the treacherous nature of this course. So Sotiere Su, Bombardino, what a wonderful name, Lauretta Mia, Rio Manigos, Raul, Senoresa, and Tonina. 2 of the horses in this particular heat are owned by Mark Harris Getty. And those of you who are familiar with Getty Images or the Getty American family, he is the descendant of J. Paul Getty. Okay. So now as we get ready for the second set of 7 horses to come out, again, remember there are only 28 horses being featured this morning as opposed to the normal 40, 50 some odd horses at these prove regolamentate, they call them. Tomorrow is the tratta. Now, what is the difference between these prove and tomorrow's trials? Well, again, as I mentioned, the jockeys here are really getting a feel for the horses and the track, and the jockeys are younger. They're not wearing the colors of the Contrade or even the colors of the commune, the city of Siena, the black and white, which is what you will see tomorrow. Tomorrow's trial races are even more crucial because that is when the captains will really be watching all of the horses, especially carefully, to choose the final 10 that will compete in the Palio of the 20th of October. Now, once the horses are assigned tomorrow, there will be 6 trial races, again, so that the jockeys who are hired have a chance to really build a relationship with their mount and to get a feel for the track. Even though many of the jockeys who are running now do not have experience in the Palio, more often than not, the jockeys who are hired to run in the Palio have more than a few Palios behind them. So in this second prova, we're going to see horses all from 2011, 12, and 13, because the Palio horses must also be a minimum of 5 years old, because again, the horse is the most precious part of the Palio race. The Palio is an expression, the highest expression of civic pride perhaps in all of the peninsula today. But the horse truly is the hero or the heroine of the race. So here we're going to see Ungaro di Bonorva, Techero, Unamore, Solero, Smeraldo Nullese, who has been, we've seen Smeraldo Nullese before, but she's not run in a Palio yet. He's not run, I beg your pardon. Sunto and Unidos. So one of the jockeys in this next heat has 3 victories to his name. His name is Alberto Riccieri or Salasso. As far as the owners go, there's an interesting Englishman here. We have Harry Arthur Lewis Westerman. Now, I can't pretend to be an expert in horses at all, but when you buy a horse and you train that horse specifically for the Palio, it's really quite an undertaking, an expense, and then if your horse is chosen to run in the Palio, it is quite an honor indeed. I mentioned the name Mark Harris Getty before. He's actually an Englishman from that great American family, the Getty family, but he was born in Rome and he spent all of his summers in Orgia, which is just outside of Siena, and it took him over 30 years to finally get a winning Palio horse, which happened in 2017 with the great horse Polonsky. So many people will have horses, raise horses, perhaps even breed horses, always in the hopes that their horse will win this Palio race. Because again, there are other races throughout the peninsula, but really the Palio of Siena is the most prestigious, one of the most prestigious in all the world, but certainly the most famous, infamous perhaps in some ways, in all of the Italian peninsula. Okay, so as we get ready for these next horses to come out, it really is quite a sight to see, to hear the clip-clop of the hooves in the Piazza del Campo, especially if you happen to be around here tomorrow morning. Why not go into the Piazza del Mercato and you'll see the horses coming out of their horse wagons, walking around and warming up. And then of course, before and after all the trial races, the horses will go back to their respective contradas. Remember that there are 17 contrade in Siena, and only 10 run in the Palio race. Now, because this is an extraordinary Palio, the contrade were all extracted, so nobody knew who was going to run, unlike the mechanism of July and August. So you have 10 horses that run in July, 7 don't run. Those 7 automatically run the following July. The same mechanism works for August. The 3 remaining contrade are drawn by lot. In the rare event of an extraordinary Palio, all of the horses are drawn by lot. So the horses, the contradas, the contradas that were chosen to run by lot were Torre, the tower, Lupa, the she-wolf, Chiocciola, the snail, Oca, the goose, Drago, dragon, that's an easy translation, Tartuca, the tortoise or the turtle, Selva, the forest, Civetta, the owl, Nicchio, the shell, and Giraffa, the giraffe. Now, of these 10 competing contradas, we have 2 sets of rivals in the piazza, the Tartuca the versus the Chiocciola the snail. Pardon? Okay. Okay. We'll just have a little break, but we'll be back in a moment.